All right, great. So yeah, today, guys, I've invited anyone here in the group that just joins today. If you have any marked hands from your tournament, if you're open to sharing those, I think it'd be good. We can look at those as a group. We'll look at those conceptually, maybe some other things we may can consider. We'll run the hands, look at the spot, look at some of the ranges to hopefully help us understand not only the hand, but the situation a little bit better. I have some marked hands here, and let's kind of talk about that for anyone in review, like who may be watching this recording, right? Because I think this is one of the most important things of the game. This is like when I'm playing sharp, when I'm playing well. I think a lot of times we're doing this kind of work. It's easy to get lazy and you want to watch videos and do more passive activities to get better, right? But one thing you're going to need to do here and there, or more often than not, is mark some hands in PT4 here and look at those. Obviously, I'm not going to go through how to mark a hand, but how to get to those marked hands is kind of important for some people. From when you mark those, you can go to new report. You go to hand report, right? Hand report's literally going to just give you every hand you played within a specific region that you mark here at the bottom. And then I just marked show marked hands only. You can go to all the maxed marked hands, top 100, whatever. We'll start with the top 100. I've done that here. And for me, my process is a little bit different than everyone else's. Like I'm mostly marking spots where I've definitely made a mistake, where I've probably blundered, where I have a question not only regarding my hand, but the range. Maybe I'm confused on the range. If I need to consider things in different stages of the tournament. So I'm thinking maybe a few levels ahead, maybe thinking if I should be check raising, if I should be floating. So maybe I just want to run the hand in this spot more so than what I've done in the actual situation. So with that being said, feel free to drop some of your hands in chat and we'll look at a couple of those, right? And I think it'll be good for everyone. AK, our friend AK here in chat did share a hand. I'll look at his and then, in between you guys getting some in here, I'll look at mine as well. So we'll spend an hour doing that. I think it'll be a good exercise. Feel free to ask questions. I'll call on you guys and get your thoughts on how you'd approach the situation as well. So let's go ahead to our friend AK. This is a funny one, which I've reviewed. It's interesting because lots of history with the villain and the hand they showed down is outside of GTO and includes a river dunk. All right, on them global streets. Let's check it out. Our friend Lou Sugar, who we've done plenty of battle with over the years. If you have anything you'd like to interject, feel free, my friend. This is your hand.
Sure.
Yep. All right, so
Yeah, and
right.
Villain is seat one. He's like a global reg and played a ton with him. He's
Yep.
gets creative and you know, just lots of creative bluffs and definitely thinks outside the box and
So we
tries
got a
to
red tag on our hands. Right away. Squeeze or no squeeze? Here, be money.
I don't know 120 deep. I'm probably just flatting here, but I think these ace seven suited has some squeezes, but I'm probably just flatting here. This super deep.
How about would you ever use maybe the ace four, ace five suited a bit more and then use like ace 10 suited plus? Is that kind of what you feel like the squeeze range would be? Or would you still flat hands like
I
ace
think
10,
I'm
ace
just.
5
I think I'm.
suited?
Well, I think I'm flatting all ace x here. It's to ace 10.
And it's good to do. This is portion of the exercise, guys. Like whenever you're questioning our decision here, right? And Chippy, if you have tools to run the situation, it's worth your fucking time, right? It's not sexy portion of the work, but it's things we should consider or start to see, maybe I do want to squeeze with this range. Oh, I've been always missing this squeeze, right? So we look here, button, small blind. So just like we say here, like I do think mixing ace four, ace five suited, it's going to be good. Never really with the ace seven. Of course, you can adjust squeezing for aggressive villains, especially those who aren't going to be as sticky or has some raise fold or plays poorly, whatever. And look at the EV, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna
gonna be
be
very close.
it's gonna be very close, depending on contingent upon how our villains play.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to like squeezing more, but I'm not super comfortable deep stacked, so I don't know. I sometimes take the path of least resistance in this spot, but I think people do overfold the squeezes, and the hand plays well post, so
Fair.
it's
No,
pretty good. But
absolutely. And I think more in regards of playability in the spot where I interpret villains ranges early in these tournaments is people just don't care and aren't
right,
folding.
right,
Like dudes are going to pill you with king 10 off here. Like
right,
any suited junk they have just because they're in position with a million chips. It's not
right.
like you have fold equity
There's
or
no
they care.
pressure,
It's no
right?
pressure.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. So there's no pressure. So I'd probably use something with a bit more playability or strong value, like ace four, ace five, or you're gonna flop wheel
yeah.
draws, you're gonna flop stuff we can
Want to
just
be able to hit
double and
rivers.
triple. Ace six, ace seven just feels like hell, man, to me. Like you're just
Yeah,
not gonna flop. I don't know enough, but I get it. I do get it. We do flat, which is good. And we see a small bet in the back seat. I mean, versus such a wide range, it doesn't have a ton of offsuit 8x outside of King 8. I don't know about this player, this type of player. He might be opening like 10-8 and shit like that. But yeah, it feels like a
yeah,
float.
yeah.
Or I don't know if I would always use this specific combo as the check raise, but I'm probably always floating it.
Is his bet size exactly 25,
30.
25%?
Yeah, 30,
It's
33, I
30.
think. Yeah.
280 and a 9. Yeah, 30. I mean, or 25. Like, I think either way, continuing, maybe even mixing check raise, the EV is going to be close, but I don't mind discontinue, honestly. He goes half pot. We can just, there's no purpose in check. It's snap call.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I have a lot of eights, and second pair often does donking, like, you know, and when it pairs the board. So I think either turn or river, and I also just I know that like he just pounces on perceived weakness like all the time. So like I was just like, oh, he's gonna spaz out if I donk this. He's just not gonna give me credit for it.
That is such
And
a value-y size. He just, is anyone ever bluffing for 15 and giving you 4-1
well, we're
almost?
about to find out.
Golly, I mean, I guess we're getting 4-1. Like folding is ever
I know it
never an
didn't feel
option
great.
versus a spaz. You're almost getting 4-1 and you've maybe induced something. So yeah. I mean, yeah, you gave yourself 4-1. What is he doing? You can never fold a hand this strong.
Are you
Yeah.
Maybe if you're
Were you planning? Did you just have in your mind you're calling? Like, did you debate that call, or are you just like, I'm donking small and calling
I
straight?
mean, I was like almost certain I was gonna call anything. Like, and my plan was to induce. Like, so I was like, well, if that was my plan, then I have to kind of go through with it. But it did feel kind of gross.
I
Like,
guess he can make it so
but
polar where you actually have to fold.
yeah, or bigger.
If he, I mean, if
like
he,
pots it or something, like then
yeah,
I'm
because he's
feel
doing
sick.
that versus the range, it includes too many 8x. When he goes
Yeah,
that size and gives you 4-1 with top pair, I think I would be
yeah,
nervous. Like, who the fuck bluffs for this size and actually feel bad, but then do math and say I can never fold.
right.
You just can't fold an ace, getting 4-1 versus someone you even have as a red tag at all. So good, well played.
Yeah. I've also noticed that like this isn't like a global like a general frequency, but like I think and this doesn't really apply to cash where people use often better correct sizing, but like I've noticed that like when people half pot, like they're often like not committing to a bluff. They're like, I want to bluff, but I don't want to bluff that much and lose. But I can't bet small, so I'm just gonna half pot it. And like and I,
Most
I just
common
see
bluff
this a
size,
lot.
right?
What's that?
Most common bluff size.
Right.
Half pot.
It's like they're like not committed to it because they just don't want to lose that many chips.
But they know they
will-
can't call and you might be able to fold. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the hand was well played. Some things to consider. Yeah, I feel like it was just never check raise here. I think the float's good. I do think the I probably would have just bluff caught, but I do like your line to be honest with you. Like I don't think I consider it enough with this portion of my range.
Right.
Because he can have some better ace X, so I might use like ace 10 or some
Right.
hands, but this, you know, is probably mid for it and it's reasonable. Probably always doing it with like ace 10 or something like that. I like it a little bit more, but this is reasonable versus the spaz. It's good.
I
Do
got
you
a quick
think-
question.
Sorry, do you think he's wider when you donk like that? Like, do you think you're like, do you ever read on him that he's going to be spazzier than if you just like, you think you're just getting too many checkbacks if you check river?
I would always check this specific hand as
like if you're gonna donk call on that card, like I'd almost rather just check call, right? Like just because like the whole point of donking is to like you don't want to call a big bet, but you end up calling the bet anyway. So it's like
I think it was that I just think he's gonna over bluff like to this line, and he's not gonna bluff as much when I just.
so you think you're
But-
inducing more bluffs by the donk, which is usually the opposite. You're usually getting rid of bluffs when
Exactly. It's like it's a block, so people just call. Like, you know.
Right. I got you.
I do
With
think you could
him-
be. Go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah, go
buddy.
ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy. I was gonna hear you out. My bad.
No, I just think like against most people, they're not gonna spaz out or like try to just pull me off. But our history, it's like I know that he likes to try to push me off hand. So it was like, all right, well, go for it, you know, like. And I did run it with some node locks, like to where I just made him over bluff river like a little bit, and then it turned from like a 5% donk to like donk like 50% of my range, like because it was just like you're getting more value when they take that line. So like
Yeah. Yeah, this is very player contingent, guys. Like this is very nuanced spot he's showing us. Like versus normal players, B money. I agree with you. Like we're just increasing our variance. We just make the spot much higher variance because we put in a little bit more, which makes their bluffs and raises when they have value even more and makes it harder to call. You know, it just I would rather bluff catch with this specific one and use slightly better, but I get it. I get it.
I got
Versus
a quick
this opponent
global
type is
rate
good.
question.
Go ahead.
So, Sixes, can you click on the gear in the upper left-hand corner, right, real quick? See how it says muck winning hands right there? So this guy, player 5655, never took the time to go in and actually.
No. So this is a weird quirk about global. Like if you view the hand,
Okay.
well, actually no, I think it was. Wait,
If a player saves the hands or views it or something like that,
because I
it
call a
exposes
showdown.
it.
Because I called their raise, they have to expose the hand, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
kind of
you can
move
only
on
mug-
and
you
get
can
to
only
the
mug
next.
if you're in position.
Yeah, I want to get on and move on because I want to get to as many hands as possible. But AK, thank you for that hand. And feel free if you have others, my man. It's all good because I want to get through. But that was a great hand, and I love the thought about having some opponents where we can kind of get outside of what we think is theory and induce. So I think this was a good hand for that. I think you played it well.
Thanks.
Yep. Cheat to win. There he is.
I lie. I cheat and I steal.
What's up, friend? How you doing, buddy?
All right.
Good. So we're in a 15K turbo event one here. Sweet. You have any context you want to add to this hand before we get started?
I had both. I can't remember who the players were, but I had them both marked as good. They're good winning players.
Oh, so we're just playing.
It was a multi-way pot early on.
Beautiful. Hope you don't grief the size.
I think I did.
Nah,
I
12.
like
Nah, this is
9.5. Should I went 9.5 there?
that'd have been too small.
So I was good with that size.
Yep,
You
you
like-
want to go 12, 4x. Even
See,
versus this, I don't care. 12 is good.
I wasn't
in
too
po-
sure
in
of the
position.
sizing here. I was like, do I go
Dude, we are
3.2,
120 bigs deep.
3.7.
I mean, we don't. No, God, no 2 point anything.
No, I said 3.2. Sorry, 3.2 to
I mean, you
2.
don't have to be. You know, this is
3.7.
this is the thing about that. You're beating ourselves up about how it doesn't really fucking matter.
Okay, so
Like,
the
I
sizing
just
wasn't
don't
that
think you want
bad.
to go small. No, dude, it's not. It doesn't matter that much. It's not like it's going to be the difference between you griefing it and not. It's not going to be the difference between you moving up in stakes or making all the money if you're getting this off by a quarter of a big. Like, who cares? Like, as long as you're in the region of over 3x, in my opinion, the 3.5 to 4x, you're fine.
There is something.
That's
Sorry, it's
straightforward.
not to interject, but like I recently like reviewed like 5,000 hands and just went through and marked all the showdowns where people had 3x'd or larger or pre,
Yep.
and it was like overwhelmingly strong. Like it was like, you know, half the hands were like tens plus and ace queen plus. And so like I think with like our super high value, it's like almost better to like really pump it up against like a 3x because like
Always 4
they're
for
gonna
me.
they're gonna put in a lot of money and where you have the second nuts, right? So it's like especially against the 3x, I like really
Dude,
messing.
early stages in these tournaments, this is your opportunity to make the money because this is where the loosest player,
Yeah.
the guys watching Netflix, the people hanging out, talking on the phone, playing around, fucking searching,
Yeah.
whatever, watching YouTube and playing poker, or like they're everywhere now, right? And they will not fold ace queen to 4x out of position and you just make a bunch. They will call pocket nines to your giant 3 bets. They are here, right? And you're just missing out. But not you, Chito, and I'm just saying, like, in general, that's why you don't want to go 2.75x at 120 bigs. Like, look at this shit. People flatting 3 bets. This should not ever happen.
That's where I started
Yeah,
freaking out. But he's a good winning player.
No,
So
he's
when
not. He's playing
I
a
know
piss low
he should-
$100 online.
No, he's not.
He's
So
playing
that-
$100 on global. He is not that good.
that player right there either should what? 4-bet or fold, right? Click it or fold.
yeah.
I'm not saying they don't have like there can be a little bit of jacks or something, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man.
That player was Monte Cristo. I haven't played against him that much.
I
But
don't know who the hell that is. If I don't know who he is, it's a nobody, right? Like,
They're all trash.
exactly. If I don't know who it is, it's a nobody in my
Like
opinion.
Oftentimes
like
that's
five
what
good
it is.
players on global.
And that's not me being an asshole. Let me see. We can try to see versus squeeze, right? Or is that what it would be? Versus 3-bet versus squeeze.
Versus 3-bet.
Yeah. So hero position, weave 3-bet. Let me pull this back up. We'd be on the button versus 3-bet. Okay.
when he did that, the only thing I could think about is he's got
No, it's versus squeeze.
queens plus and ace king suited. Like
No, he'd 4-bet ace king.
What I like
Hero's
to say about like
position.
winning players on global, a lot of them are really bad, like really bad,
all right,
and yet they're still winning
Yeah,
because the
there's
pool on
truly.
global is just awful.
so
So
bad.
they're
Yeah.
still good.
I mean,
And there's tons of variance on global because there's no rebuys. So you could have a good year playing like dog shit until next time a bad year just because it's fucking high variance.
yeah, I mean, I think we have to do it here. I don't want to, but yeah, we have to. I kind of need to see this spot. So we're what, 100 bigs deep? Let's just say 100 bigs
100.
deep. This is probably easier to do it. It was clear this.
I think it's 9-handed, so I think you have to do it. Yeah.
Oh, I have to do it.
Yeah.
+1.
Yeah.
+1.
Yeah,
Hijack.
+1 open, +1 open. We 3-bet and a hijack, and then we get here to the button. You do see a little bit of jacks and shit to the 3-bet. So we get to call. 2.3, you're closer to like 3.75 here, but this is versus 2.3. And I think exploitatively in a low stakes, you're just always 3-5 to 4 versus these guys. Get here. So versus a 3-bet, the only spot we're flatting, I mean, I think nobody's flatting this. And I really feel like a lot of times from what I see, if I ran a bunch of hands in my database, it's like jacks and tens Always.
Yeah,
Maybe some
yeah.
ace
Or
queen
ace
suited.
queen. Exactly. Yeah. I see
Ace queen suited because it
I
doesn't
like
know
the
how to.
king.
It's too uncomfortable and they don't want to get it in. They could play it in position. So
Yeah.
it feels like a three-hand heavy range. Most people willing to go broke with queens always. Ace 10 feels like an easy fold.
If you go down to 50 EVs, is there any flats?
Let's see. Yes, I think that's a good question. But here at 100, you will see just, let's say jacks, tens, ace, queen. And you have that range crushed. But yeah, let's go here. I think that's a good question. We go to 50. So we had +1. Then we see there's 3-bet to 6-9. Nah.
Yeah.
No mas.
Yeah.
It's all I mean, look at jacks.
Like it.
Tens. How many of us are just ripping the tens in cold? Don't lie.
Blunder.
Don't lie. Stop lying. It ain't a big
Yeah,
blunder, but
Jacks are
feels
indifferent, right? So like
no, yeah, jacks
barely
are
making any
0.
money. Yeah.
Feels horrendous with jacks, and I think everybody in the chat's GG with jacks. So okay,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably ripping jacks so too much.
Especially in re-entry, but yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I guess what happens here if I'm heads up, the hand obviously plays different, but when I'm in the middle like this is where I kind of get lost.
No,
Because
you're not lost. You just check, right? I mean,
yeah. Okay, good.
Would anybody go quarter? We've established that range is jacks, tens, and ace queen a lot.
So 100% of their range smacks it. They don't have it.
It feels
They
like
have
that in
no.
your
Yeah.
multi. Yeah, like
They have a set or two, it's like
I mean, yeah, in
zero
theory,
point of
like
betting, I guess.
whatever you're crushing the pocket nines and eights. You already beat those hands. What are we betting for?
Exactly.
Of course, I gotta tease you now.
This is where like I really didn't know what to do though.
Feels like I want a quarter, but what purpose? Quarter can serve as a little bit of value. And helps me show. I don't know. Golly, maybe it is a pure check. But it feels higher variance to check than to go quarter. I don't think we ever get bluffed when we go quarter here. We just get very honest reactions. If we check and he goes like 20 something bigs, how do you feel? It feels horrendous, but you have to 12 is a good price. Can't fold. He's never bluffing. Okay.
Yes, I'm fine here, right? Like when they played this hand, I was like,
You're
I
getting
didn't-
4-1 with this set. Will he ever do this with jacks or tens? Which is portion of his range on a 4-line board when you've called.
See, in my mind, he had queens the whole time because when he did what he did pre, I was like, it's got to be queens. That's what he's doing with queens.
Or
And then-
ace queen. I would check
Ace
back.
queen. Yeah, this is just a queen X. Like he's not afraid to reopen the action for a milky size versus your range on a 4-line board. He just praying to get called by 2.
And I don't think he's checking back ace jack, ace 10 jacks or tens on the flop, right? Like he's betting.
Nope.
Yeah.
Good
so
point.
that
I mean,
was
that's a discipline fold, cheat.
okay. Thank you.
I think it's just a good discipline fold. If anyone can object, it does feel bad to fold aside getting 4-1. But is this guy really going to reopen the action here with worse? And what does that worse look like? We block 8. Like, would he have checked back ace jack, ace 10 on the flop in position? Is he really gonna turn ace 9 is a bluff? Does he call 3 bets like that? No. He called with queens or ace queen, and now he's betting it. I guess sometime he owns us. Would he have checked back a set in the back seat? Jacks or tens? No. Probably
One thing I
not.
heard, one thing I heard recently from 2 different people. I heard it both from Giraffe and I heard it on that podcast that Saliba was on. Was that if you're in a bluff catching situation on the river and the dude doesn't have enough bluffs, it's not that you fold a little bit more; it's you fold 100%. So like.
Yeah.
So like just population here is gonna have queens so much. Like even if this guy like randomly has like pocket nines here that he just turn it like it does, like you just fold 100% and you're good. Like that's the exploit. Like that's it.
Yeah, but you don't want to overdo it because there will be opponents that have bluffs, and you'll be able to recognize that. But yeah, but for the most part, like this
Right,
is just
you have
straight on
to
your way.
correctly identify the situation. You can't edge past your way to like, whatever, but I just think like three bet pot, three-way, like we just talked through the hand. Like he just has queens, he has a queen here so many times.
Yep.
right. Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thanks,
Yeah, no
everybody.
problem, Cheat.
Where's Giraffe posting videos nowadays?
He's out in Malta or whatever, or
Malta.
playing live poker somewhere.
I actually asked him
What's
that, I asked him that question like maybe like a year ago in his stream. And it's just funny that he was just like, yeah, like one of the biggest things I learned when I first started out was somebody's frequency's off. You don't adjust your frequency a little bit. Like if somebody overfolds to a check raise, you don't check raise a little more, you check raise 100% of the time. Or if they're under bluffing, you fold 100% of the time. And then Saliba just said that in that whatever that podcast was he was just on like last week. So
Very good stuff. Check those guys out. 100%, man. I think that's good stuff. And like those are some of the adjustments I think you get caught up in studying a game and you're trying to, I'm gonna run my hands through GTO Wizard and see what that says. Well, that's not the fucking Bible, dude. These people don't play like this. It's very good to get the concepts behind, but you have to be willing to make adjustments versus population. And there are a lot of spots you can't just turn your brain off and play like this.
Yeah, it's really easy with like the AI solver to just make node locks, and I think it's just like super crucial. Like every time you review, it's just like look at
Yep.
both line or look at both directions. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Sweet. We have a hand here from my man Molten Ashes. Savage
So what up?
Ashes. What's up, my friend? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Don't worry, I still remember I owe you $10. I ain't forgot.
Oh, good, oh, good.
What is this hand from? It is from the 30K deep. Oh, we're going big time here. You have any
Yeah.
context behind it before we get it started?
Oh, yeah, villains are wreck.
Villain is a
That's all.
wreck. That is all.
Yes.
Love to see it. Whoa, this thing is busted. Very nice. Yep. Cut off call. 7 high with the ace of hearts. Gonna be a spot we want to run, but what is your natural thought here, Steve W? See better no. 3 low. Disconnected. Two-tone. No Steve Dub. Let's see. Matt Nickel.
I think our range wants to check here a lot.
How about your
Something
ace
like,
king with the heart though? Would you, and if you do mix, what size do you do?
if I do bet, I'm not gonna bet very often, so I'm gonna go big. Probably like that B75 or something.
B75.
But
Very
I'm gonna
good.
bet like 10% or something.
Bet 10% of the time. Okay. Let me see. B money ever see bet?
I'm probably checking range here. I wonder actually, because like I think both of our ranges miss this board a lot. With the king, I wonder if we actually bet small with the ace of hearts at some point. If I'm betting, most of my betting range is going to be like centered around like 8s through 10s with or 10s that block that, like Jack 10, Queen 10, stuff like that. But this hand, I probably just pure check my high cards here.
So this is gonna be interesting, right? Because I mean, these are good spots where we don't want to autopilot too much. And don't forget the disclaimer: we have a player here that is recreational that may have a wider range. He may have a lot more trash in this range than standard. Let me see if we can kind of AI solve a little bit post. So how deep effectively are we here? So we're 60 bigs effective, and
60.
we are, what is it? I'm sorry. Did you say? No, 60.
We're 60.
Yeah, he's low jack, right? Cut off hijack,
No,
low
I'm
jack. Oh,
under the gun.
MP, yeah, under the gun plus cut off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the record, I'm not range checking here. I'm betting like 20% of my range, but it's going to be more centered towards 8s through 10s. And like my bluffs around that range as well. Ace king, I'm not.
It was the 7 of hearts. Was it no? Was it 7 of clubs? No, 7 of hearts. I
think
got it
it's
right. 7 of hearts, 2 of hearts, 3 of clubs.
No, I got that. It's
Did I get it reversed?
yeah, 2
you
hearts.
got it reversed.
Damn near range. What would you do differently versus a fish, right? Do we get to bet way more versus the looser range?
That's a good question.
This guy just one of those guys that just does not 3-bet and he just calls, right? We see, dude, these guys exist everywhere. Having more 7s in his range and more shit that hits the board is probably going to be worse for us, right? Let's say he's one of these guys. I like the wheel aces. Never folding that, right? He will 3-bet the good stuff, right? But he's that guy. I mean, dude. Versus that guy, look what you get to do.
Nice.
Let me give it. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We give ourselves some more bet sizes, right? As if it would ever prefer us to go bigger with anything else. So we got quarter pot. What's another size? 55%. Let's give it another size. Let's give it 75%. And then let's go 125. I mean, brother, look how much versus this type of player you want to check now when he has this wide of a range. Even if it hits a little bit more, we put in some more trash, right? How many players do you think have a range? I mean, you might have it a bit tighter, but a lot of people play a range slightly like this.
Obviously, betting as a exploiters against Rex has always been good. I didn't realize we can exploit it this much
Golly.
out of position.
This is why you run this shit. I do think some of my opponents on Iggy are just over flatting these kind of hands and playing very high VPIP. So when you get in these spots, right, and you look at your villain and he's got a 40% call range over 50 hands or something, and he's just limping a lot, playing a lot. We need to be c-betting a lot versus that type of opponent.
Yeah, and then just
Damn,
node lock it for like bet 25, and then they overfold by 3%.
So you want their range to
so go under the gun B25.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Right here.
Yeah, and then the response. Yeah, node lock it.
Well, that's
no,
their
it's
edit.
yeah, it's the icon below that.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
one,
yeah.
And then just put strategy like 18, maybe.
18% fold?
Yeah. Like barely different, right? So then,
Right.
and then you go to lock. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Oh, wait, no, you have to click the, yeah, lock all and continue. Yeah, that works.
This works as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to go back and see how much you want to be betting here?
Yeah. Sometimes I mean, it's
Whoa!
like
Range.
Wow!
Yeah. It's also good to just know like every tree, but because then you get like the full response. But yeah, I mean, it's such a tiny change in their strategy, but it's just a drastic shift. I mean, that kind of illustrates giraffes thing, where like if anyone, you have to know which direction they're doing stuff, but if they slightly overfold, it usually means you bet everything, right? Like, or if they, so yeah, it's just there's a bunch of spots like
Can
this,
you
right?
can you do that the other? Can you just change to see if they overcall the flop if they're floating wide? You could put that to what was it?
Oh
It was
yeah,
at
it was
15. So put fold
So
at
this
12.
was at 12, right? No,
No,
this
it's
was
at
at
15, so do
15.
12.
And then go
I thought
12.
we.
Yeah.
No, So
This
that
is-
has them 66 and then raising a little bit more, right?
This is good shit.
Yeah, and they're not raising. I mean, that's also the other thing. They're
It
not bluff
mixes.
raising. Fucking Jack 10-0. Like, I mean, it's just they. If someone's like over
Mixing.
flatting pre, they're not usually gonna compensate by like bluff raising a shit ton more, right? Like they're gonna be passive pre, they're gonna be passive post. Like
Yeah. They're playing
it's
more fitted
flashy.
fold, man. They're just not going to be creative enough. They're not going to be
Exactly.
sticky enough. You're still going to have equity on a lot of turn cards with these two overs as well. Like, yeah. This is eye-opening for myself included, and I think this is something in the background for anybody watching this on replay. You should be considering, like, it should open up your mind to not just using these tools as brainwashing verbatim and playing like the solver, because that's not the way to make the most money in poker, right? We have to be a little bit deeper than that. Think about how our opponents, if they're too sticky, if they're too tight. And most people, in my opinion, are just going to play fit or fold in some of these spots. And
So
just
what do you
see
think,
that.
why why if we're playing balanced and he's playing balanced, why, I want to understand this. Why are we, I mean, we're literally going from a check range to almost a bet range. So
Because it's the EV difference, because our opponents are going to be playing correctly in all situations, and they're going to be balanced, and our range wants to be balanced, but their range slightly becomes unbalanced and they become overfolding. We're just going to be able to
So do
print
they
a
just
lot of
get,
EV in a zero EV spots. If
if
we're
they,
already close, we're just going to be printing EVs in that spot and more.
so are they just, are we, is what's, is really what ends up happening is because they're, first of all, you widen their calling range to start. So are they just basically getting there with too many hands, and therefore we just generate more folds if we bet small? And
Yeah,
that's,
that, and then like the future EV of being able to bluff as well, and just the immediate fold equity if they're over folding, right? They have already too much trash in their range.
yeah.
They have some reverse implied odds with some portion of this range as well versus certain portions of our range. Like it's kind of a tough spot. And if they're over folding, like we just crush, and they already have too much. We've already expanded this range as well. Don't forget. Like this is not a GTO calling range. It's
Yeah.
wider and they're over folding. So you have those two things combined, right?
It's part of how you punish them because they just show up with too weak of a range.
They show too weak of a range. It's more hands, and they're overfolding. Now they're still defending in this instance, but the other instance when they're a wider range that's overfolding, we just crush. So what's the equities of the loosened? What's up, LaRock? How you doing, buddy? Here we go. The under the gun range is smoking this fucking loose ass range. Just crushing it. Even on the board this low with all this additional trash in there. It is crazy. So I guess one thing we can do as an exercise when we're sitting at the table so we're not bored is identifying where our players, if you start seeing someone call third in, right? If you start seeing the guy show up with offsuit tens in the cutoff on the button to opens and stuff like that, then this would be the perfect type of opponent to just kind of go after, right? In these kind of spots. When you see them showing up too wide, when they're limping, when they're just overcalling too much. So yeah, this is great. Sweet. Did we get through this hand? We have not. Molten. Sorry about that, brother. But versus a rec, you can c-bet here, right? You can just go quarter pot. You can mix in some large bets. You can do whatever the hell you want. In theory, you can check a lot. You've identified this is a rec, so we probably should be
Yes.
learning to c-bet more.
Right. Something I need to consider. I checked.
Oh God, we should have c-bet. Now look and see it. Right? No, I'm joking, but yeah. You see someone do this, now we know in the future, like, oh, this is interesting. Rut-row. All right, we're in no man's land.
I think the 7 is just awful for me.
Uh... oh man. I can't. I don't know this.
I think
Is he
he's
ever
like
bluffing
gonna
here? Is
give
a
up.
player who's playing like this bluffing enough?
I just
No.
don't think he has enough value.
True.
This is why you have the nickname of Savage Ashes. And
I just think his range when he does this is just too weak. Because I
it's
don't think a
very
lot of
polar.
enough
I
flush.
mean, he's gonna have he either has the 7 or he doesn't.
I
Or
don't
the
think
ace
enough.
of hearts. Whoa! Like, is he really checking a 7 on the turn with 2 flush draws on a board like this in the
Exactly.
backseat? Probably not, right? Is he really gonna go 1 and then let you? Nah, I love it.
Why don't you just
This-
call then? He's only
Is he trying to
folding.
make some like merge a range between using it as a bluff slash value, like because sometimes he's just gonna have a lower pair he might fold out and be indifferent with when he does this.
Betting pocket fives here?
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe it's a reasonable merge.
Oh man.
I don't know. Ace King is like has some showdown. Maybe doing this more with like this is such a crazy spot. How do you? I mean, I don't have the
I
opinions.
think he has, especially Rex. I think they under 3-bet. So I do think they might have 9s, 10 checks. Might play this way.
To just stab for 1. I think those guys just pot the button, like go half pot with those hands a lot in the back seat.
Maybe I can hero.
I think he's got bluffs. I think he's just
Just
bluffing
bluffed.
here.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, this turn check is the hands. Maybe unnecessary, but at the same time, like I don't hate showing some balls here. Like if you think it's mergy and we can sometimes fold out a smaller pair that somehow he gets here with like 4s or something, and we put 4s in hell any percentage of the time or something, right?
That's the word. That's
Like you call here and lose the 4s, you hate your life. That's all I can imagine. Like, and then it's mergy and like you usually have the best hand a lot. I don't hate it, man. But I mean, this was good to look at from the solution here. Like this was the biggest learning point of the hand and how we can adjust our range. And one thing we can consider there, Molten, versus these guys is mixing in c-bet a bit more, right?
Right.
And I think that's something for myself I'm going to be marking a lot moving forward and making sure I'm not misapplying it. Because all we have in this game is the opportunity to learn and grow and get better. And we don't want to be stagnant and doing what we're comfortable with, which is checking every time because we know the EV's close to you. You want to be a crusher or not. Like just mixing in this stuff and adjusting is going to be really good for us.
Once we identified someone's a wreck, would you recommend c-betting like wider and just assume their range is wider, even if you haven't seen them call to loose pre-flop? Or would you only make the adjustment after you see them make a play to loose pre-flop?
I don't know. I think it could be interesting to make assumptions versus field sizes and what fields. If I'm playing an $11, it may be reasonable to start the tournament with assumptions and try c betting out of position just as a standard versus some of the
All right.
weaker fields that we assume. The crazy 8s on Iggy, right? The lucky 7s, those tournaments where we're going multi-way, people are flatting a lot. Maybe we adjust that way instead of the other way, right?
Right. Yeah. I always like
It's just
adjusting for aggression more than adjusting for passiveness. So like if I can find a reason to c-bet, I will c-bet.
fair. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. And then we can mark those situations that hey, maybe I'm playing better versus check and using check raise. Maybe I'm making more money that way. Could we got more marked hands as well? Let me see. Someone crazy sixes. How are you proceeding on the rest of the hand? Generally speaking, if the loose cutoff raises your c bet, how many people are raising a c bet as a bluff? Maybe the good rags if I'm c betting, I have a more of a purpose versus a good rag if I'm c betting out of position and I identify that I have a purpose, right? Like I'm not just going to be over c betting, planning to fold with certain portions of my range because I understand that my range is uncapped and I'm always going to have like some of the best hands there on a lot of these boards. Let me pull another hand. Let me go back. Matt Nickel, did we look at this? Oh no, you shared that link. Guys, check this out. Young
I-
Saliba as well with the jungle.
Oh, nice with jungle.
Yeah, it's really good. I posted
AK.
hands higher up if you want to look at them.
Oh yeah, I just saw
I think
this.
B Money might have too.
All right, I'm trying to look at this hand. All right, I got this hand saved. Sorry about that. Let me pull it up in PT4. Zero hands.
Probably got to change the user. Probably got it on yourself.
Well, it still says the import shows 0, but oh, it says remaining complete.
Yeah, is that the Queen 6 one?
Did I post it wrong?
I think it just has the tournament summary.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
that's just the tournament summary.
Okay, sorry, I'll repost them. My
That's cool,
bad.
bud. Let me see.
When you're north of the border, you only need the summary.
Yeah, we pay in coins, no dollars here. Only loonies and goofy shit like that.
All right, I got a hand from B Money here. We'll pull up in the meantime. Since it says 1 error, great. Oh, you resent it. Sorry about this, guys. Maybe look at some of my own as well. Try to keep the velocity of the study session going.
So I posted the summary and the hand in there. I put them both. I don't know if you downloaded both.
I tried to. I'm not showing where those hands are showing.
I just reposted both for that ace king as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are griefing me or if I'm griefing it.
I could share the video, I think, if that's easier.
Yeah, if you want to put the video in chat, that'd be good. Yes, do it that way.
Let's see if I could do that.
Putting the video in chat is going to be the easiest in these spots. That was an old Ted Habs move. Do it that way. Because me going through and having to do this is a pain in the ass, especially if it doesn't come through correct. And PT4 can be a pain in the ass. All right, so it's complete. You post a bit?
It's loading right now.
All right, cool. Yeah, from here on out, guys, let's just send the vids in the thing that way. Is that it?
Yeah, the 8881 should be it. Hopefully
All
that
right, I
works.
got it. All right. Beautiful. Every time like this. No other way.
This is like money bubble, like players left getting paid.
GG.
I should have ripped it, right?
I'm never, ever, 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 ever calling. I'm
Okay.
only ripping this 100% of the time, every single time.
Yeah, that's
Jam
what I
pre, no shot. No shot, it's a raise and deuce. Even in this
No,
spot.
I mean like 4-bet jam pre. Not like
Oh, yeah.
open jam
Oh, I
pre.
see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Sorry. GG. 100%. Nope. Welcome to hell. So, what were your thoughts here?
Well, this guy's like a super aggro Brazilian rig that I play a lot, and I figured he's gonna 3-bet me with like King Jack suited, King Queen O, random like worse ace X. So if I just flat pre-flop, I'm gonna keep in like all of his bluffs that I'm now way ahead of.
So you got to be willing to just call it off with ace king high on any run out, Dan. Is that your plan?
Yeah, that's basically what I did.
I think that's higher variance, man. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like, I think just jamming, he gets to realize all of his equity your way, and he could put in the money with much worse the other way, and taking it down and not putting ourselves in weird high variance spots on these money bubbles in position, but like, it's just going to be the best.
Okay.
Like, I would only fucking jam here. I want to see if it ever like I'm wondering if I would even call like ace king suited on this money bubble, the stone money bubble. Like, are we supposed to just jam ace king suited to this 3-bet as well? Or is that gonna flat? That's a damn good question. I mean, this is dude, you can't I think even in our wildest dreams, I would almost want to always jam the ace king off, but maybe we do want to flat in some iterations. So 7 is direct bubble. Right? Let's see if we have a simulation
Yeah,
that's
it's
kind of
direct bubble.
comparable. No, it was a video, and we have, was it 40 effective to start the hand?
Yeah, like
32.
30.
32.
Whoa! 32 and a cutoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, let's see what close. We have to be covered. And we can put ourselves, so 24 is, no, we need to be deeper. This is
42, 54.
40. Damn, man, these aren't close enough. I mean, I want to see if we get 3-bet by the
Here's a
small blind real quick.
There's a
here's a
36,
DPO
42
wizard one.
bet like it's hijack. Maybe that's comparable.
36. Where's it
Or all the
at?
way near the bottom.
Oh, right here. This is comparable, right? Hijack versus 3-bet. Hero position in the hijack, 3-betters position in the butt. GG. And it's like like at least here, so 36. This is fairly comparable. What if we're in a cutoff in the small blind for 50, right? Hero's position in the cutoff. In the small blind 3-bet. So we're 50. Does it still rip? GG. I mean, this is a lot, and this spot feels a little bit more intense. BBG, yeah, it's just like even ace king suited. I was thinking, do we get to call ace king suited? Nope, rip it. What's our EV difference? Pretty big.
There's more trapping than I thought. I didn't think it would have ever flat the XO tens.
Seeing
queens.
queens flat, it's kind of funny, right? Like 50 bigs going broke on a direct money bubble with queens feels horrendous.
Yeah, can you see the risk premiums? Because I think it's also just like we don't want to lose 80% of our stack. So like it's just one of those like spots where you call with all your nuts. And like ace king is like a bluff here. There's like a bunch of ICM spots where ace king is basically a bluff because you're just blocking all of their like their top of their range. And I don't know, look at the response for like when you shove, like they're probably supposed to fold like almost everything. Like
Go where? Go, oh, to the shove
yeah, when
versus
you shove, like look at what they're supposed to call. I think there's I don't know.
versus. Nah, it doesn't get that deep. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be aces and kings and shit, guys. Like versus 4-bet. Heroes in a cutoff.
No, he would be big,
A
big
hero
blind
be
this time.
ZBB. I mean, fucking ace king off kings plus, like super tight on these bubbles. But yeah, I think this is just a spot where like this is good for you to see though. I think this hand in general just doesn't want to call, man. Just be happy with the jam and not over slow playing it. But let's see what fresh hell you put yourself into. What do we trap this man with? Never folding. Got him. Got him. And we ask ourselves, that was in theory land, right? Our assumptions and wanting to always jam. As an exploit, is this the best course of action when we just think his 3-betting range is going to be hands we completely dominate and we're going to be willing to run it down with? If he had a pair or something like that, we were going to lose it all to those pairs anyway in a flip. But what about the offsuit queens and jacks we keep in his range, or offsuit aces and kings that we crush? I think that's pretty interesting, Matt. Real talk. I think that's very interesting.
One thing I'm a little worried about that though is that I sometimes I think he 3-bets with hands that are worse than ace king, like that doesn't have an ace or a king, because baby versus cutoff I think he can start 3-betting even on the bubble, like a lot of his suited range. I might be wrong on that though. Okay, I'll
It's
just
weird.
I'll just take
It's
that
weird
out.
they didn't barrel because like, you know,
Maybe
if
a little bit.
if
Go ahead,
they're
buddy.
3-betting a lot of the junk, then it's like they're smashing that run out, right? So,
But nobody's doing that. You're never supposed to 3-bet the jump ever
well, no,
out of
I mean like
position.
king five, king six. That's junk in my mind, right?
I don't
Like,
think I'll be honest with you, man. I just don't see it, man.
right.
Maybe you guys do, and I'll be honest, I just don't see 3-bet bluffs
I just
outside
I
of
thought it was
all
like
in a lot.
that he's like a Brazilian that we think is
Yeah,
over
he's a
bluffing. Is
Brazilian,
that
right?
the read?
Yeah, maybe they use king eight, but they're always, and I think you make a good point, Matt. Like I think even the Brazilians or anyone who is aggressively 3-betting, guess what they're going to use? What portion of their range are they going to use a lot? Offsuit ace X and king X blockers. They're not going to just use 7-8 off.
Yeah.
You know, they're just always going to have a blocker. So you have that pretty crazy, like dominated. I wonder it'd be interesting. Like, yeah, you gave me a pretty interesting thought experiment with that because these guys are just using blockers. You just have them dominated. But I don't know. I mean, I'm always jamming still for comfort, but I can see what you're saying, and that's why a hand like Ace Queen off becomes the nuts. Ace Jack in these spots, you could just call it off. Maybe they have Ace King and you're blocked a little bit, but yeah, I think it's interesting. My next hand is a 3-bet bluff and ICM. Cool. Let me make sure anyone else shared a hand. AK had another hand here. I have like maybe 15 minutes before we have to start wrapping it up, but this has been very good. All right, AK, show me what you got. I'll get back to your other hand there, Mountie. Um, 2-2 here. It's fine, whatever. Bet or no? Bet or no LaRock? See bet or nah? Lay Rock, Obama. All right, Jason, see bet or no? Oh, LaRock's here. I seen that unmute. No, you can't hide. I'll ask both of you guys. Go ahead, LaRock.
I think this is a good hand to check.
Checking back your second pair. You check. Are you betting any other Jack X, or you can just check all your second pair in this spot?
Actually, I would probably bet ace jack sometimes, but I think most of the time I'll check it.
How about hands like Queen 10? All your Queen 10s.
Yeah, I would bet queen 10 big.
Go big. Okay. It's good to look at these kind of spots. How about versus weak passive opponent? Like you're still gonna mix check with second pair even versus those opponents?
Perhaps less so, I guess, right? I would probably bet my second pair more often if they were truly a passive opponent.
Okay. Against regs, I checked the ace jack. Matt says bet 66 for me. So yeah, this is gonna be a good spot, an easy spot to run here at 50, let's just say 50 effective, and kind of see our frequency. Make sure, if we're ever betting in our second pair, does it want to just be a little bit more passive with it? I gotta go back, don't I?
I dropped in the link if directly to the full run out if you want it, but
Oh,
either way,
okay.
yeah, it's below the second comment after. Yeah,
Check it. Let
whatever.
me see. So it was hijack versus cutoff at 50 effective.
For
Hijack
small
opening
blind.
range or small blind. Yep.
Yeah.
Ace 8 O plus, twos plus. Missing these twos opens myself. Fuck me.
Yeah, I'm missing the ace eight.
Yeah, I'm missing his twos and threes. I've just been autopilot folding this too much. That's good. So we get our open and then our small blind. Have king 10 off, king jack off, king 5 suited plus. So there's a good bit of king X here, right? Off jack X, ace jack, queen 10, some jack. So yeah, let's see. Versus call. The flop was who wants a gold star? No one. Jack of clubs, king of hearts, six it up. Jack of clubs, king of hearts, six of diamonds.
Spade,
Damn it.
diamond.
All right, let's see. Boom. Man up. And that answers the question a little bit, Larock. Like if we just assume our opponents are fairly weak too, we probably want to bet this spot a shitload. We don't
Yeah.
necessarily maybe want to cap our range. We're going to get to just fold out hands that have some equity, get called by worse hands. There's just a lot of benefit to being able to bet this spot.
How
Our
often does
predominant
ace jack
checks.
off check here?
Here we go, but looks like
Like
if we just go to
50-50.
strategy, it looks like a
Half the
50-50.
time.
Do we want to see now? Let's look at this. If we do go small, let's see. Our most dominant bet size is just 33, right? What if you have someone overfolding the overpair at full frequency and then mixing in? No one's gonna fold a top pair, a jack. Probably shouldn't be folding any of this.
What could they raise here
What can they raise? Just, I mean,
for bluffs?
this is not happening.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
6-5
it's
check raise
against
doesn't happen
Child
ever
of
enough.
Jesus, and I don't know if I think they're pretty good and capable of doing stuff like that. But you know, yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
definitely
I
run
don't think it
more.
happens enough.
Yeah, not enough for sure, but yeah,
So therefore, you can bet ace jack more than 50% of the time.
probably. Yeah, I mean, do we want to no lock it a little bit or?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think if I just go to create, I don't think I really need to mess with ranges too much. If anyone wants to interject and thinks maybe there's more hands that flat, versus, but let's just give it a standard opponent here that would play theoretically sound pre-flop, but make some mistakes post-flop, right?
Yeah.
I think that's good. So we'll create the solution as is and then play around with the bet sizes and whatnot. We'll keep the small blind never leading. We'll give ourselves 33. Whoops. Give ourselves 33. We'll give ourselves 55. We'll give ourselves 83. Then we'll give ourselves 125. It's a lot of bet sizes, maybe an unnecessary, but I do want to see if it ever prefers one section portion of our range just going ape shit here, right? One thing
Ace
we
queen's
do
good,
still
yeah.
see is some overbets. Aces. Hammering it. Ace king hammering. I mean, damn, this king queen of diamonds is just mostly just going 83. All right, so let's just say we go to 33. We're going to make all the under pairs pure fold. Take out some of these check raises, right? We want to go here. So we want the check
Yeah,
raises.
if you go to set strategy and
Oh,
just
yeah,
the
right
middle
here.
tab, then you can do individual hands. So like if you make it,
Yeah, I want these. I just don't feel like people. I feel like people. Oh shit! Well, I want blue. How
because
blue?
if you go to you have to change the
Oh,
sliders on the top. So like change if you click 55 is 0. Yeah, there you go.
twos, threes. Probably folding all the fours. I can't see the flop. Yeah, there's no. I'm just saying all the under pairs fold, and then probably no check raise with that. Anything else stand out? Everything else pretty standard, right? Like I can't imagine anybody folds any portion of this. Pocket nines, eights, sevens on this board. Do people get shook and fold that shit, right?
Probably a little bit.
Most people
depending.
probably wouldn't raise 8-6 suited, right?
Very good call.
I also think they under check raise 9 suited. If we're talking about,
No, I
A
feel
lot
and
like
of
yeah, I feel
better
like this is worth
candidates to
it.
do it, but yeah, I think you're right.
Let's say 25%. Fair?
yeah, that's right.
Jack
I would,
nine is probably a fucking zero in real life, right? Like,
yeah,
let's be
and
honest
also
here.
jack 8.
There's just no way. And if we're gonna use the tool, let's use it right. This mixed frequency stuff, fair, right? Fine. Like, I don't think people necessarily hit it, but let's say it's fine. 8-6 calling, pocket nines, dude. I think this is another hand that people can just get comfortable check folding a little bit, but let's say 50%. How does our strategy change versus this?
Oh wait, did it lock? Oh yeah, it did lock.
Bet
Yeah,
small,
no bet big.
no bet big versus this. You don't even mix or do anything. You just go small. And that's one adjustment we've seen multiple times when we've given an opponent that may overfold or may not mix appropriately. We just bet small a lot more. And our ace jack becomes
Interesting. Still likes to check a lot. It's like
50-50.
yeah, it's interesting. I think like to do this because you also want to look at what hands the strategy doesn't change. So it's like you can apply it basically to everyone, right? Like there's some of the range will behave exactly like the equilibrium solution, right? So like
It's never nines has never changed. Sevens, eights, and nines has been pretty consistent to make a point for you. Like some of these hands,
yeah,
when we change it, these hands were checking, like nines and tens and eights were just checking always.
yeah,
And that's been consistent. This ace eight and stuff like that, it was checking before. But the rest of this middling portion could just mix back. Betting a lot. Seeing this, it makes me want to bet small always. Like, but
right.
we do check. And checking with this hand was pretty reasonable. I think when it had one of the suits, it was mixing bet 50-50 a little bit more. Now you can't fold, even though maybe calling once, and if he bets twice, feels horrendous. Oh boy. I mean, what do we? It's unfortunate, but pay the man his money, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should
What?
go for value, but so I jammed, I think.
Woo!
Yeah, I was like,
Thinking you.
am I just getting called by the nuts? You know?
Yeah. Am I ever jamming here? I want to run this hand now because I'm not sure. This is really good. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be jamming. Danny, you jamming there?
No.
That's what I don't think so either. Probably not. I don't know. He just still has. I mean, he has queen tens in his range,
Yeah.
like four
There's a link
combos
to
of
the
suited king
river.
tens.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a link to the river as you have.
I wonder. I didn't look at what they're supposed to call with versus the jam, but
I mean, a little bit. So it mostly wants to call.
Yeah.
Did
Because,
you
but
mess
when
around
you
with their
jam,
range
you're
at
supposed to
all?
call with like king nine, jack nine, a little bit of king jack. Um,
Did you add these suited two gappers in? Was 8, 6, and these suited sevens in there for small blind call range?
uh, no,
Yeah, you added these.
no. This is
This
the
is
non-AI. This
oh,
is
this is the
the
non-AI.
yeah. Those are
Yeah,
in
he
there.
does have that. Yeah, I mean, shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Too tight in this spot. I would
But
never. I'm not flicking 8, 6 enough. I'm
yeah,
always calling these, but 8, 6.
yeah. 10
Jack
7. I'm definitely
7 is
missing.
another one
Yeah,
that
queen. Yeah, I'm definitely
Queen
missing a lot of
6.
those. Yeah.
No, 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 no. This is small blind range. I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, it is. Damn, isn't that crazy? I'm probably not playing this enough in that spot.
Yeah, same.
Like the suit, like 10-8's easier. The suited 8s are a bit easier, but I'm certainly missing these three hands myself personally. Really good.
The EVs are really thin though, right? So it's tough to actually realize that, like
And some of our opponents are playing pretty tight, right?
right.
Tighter than that. So, cool. I got like time for like maybe one more hand. Yeah, a little bit. Just taking Queen 6 to the bank is a just bluffing it.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it is. Does anyone have one more hand that they want to check out? I know you guys posted a few, but if anyone has an easy video link, something that we can check out before we get out of here, that would make it good. The Queen 6 off one is quick. Where's that at? Is that you got a video of it? You can repost. Oh,
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's right. I think it should be right above the GTO wizard link and in between Jam Pre.
it says Poker Stars hand. This is probably it, right?
No, it's the 888 one, like right above that. I actually just mostly want to ask about like the spot in general. We can look at this one instead too if you want.
It's cool. Takes a hot second to get them up. All right.
So it's 3 tables left in the money. I know that this is a 3-bet in theory, or like we want to be pulling our 3 bets from like blocker plus
Whoa, whoa,
low
whoa,
card
whoa,
offsuit.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa.
Wait, did you say it's 3 from the money?
No, it's 3 tables left
Oh, okay.
in the money.
So why? My first
Uh,
question is like, he's got 17 bigs. What do you think your most common response to a 17 big open from the button will be when you win a 3-bet? What is the most common 3-bet size?
yeah, no, it's mostly all in, but the 3-bet
And
not all ins like in the solver are just like queens plus ace king, and then like this like garbage stuff. And I looked at this spot as well as I could with the GTO wizard spots, and like theoretically correct. Be
how much
raising
EV
like
was that
this like
making?
region. It's like 0 EV, but if we don't do it, we don't have any bluffs. And so my question is like, does it matter if we don't have any bluffs when we 3-bet not all in here?
Do you think this is printing a lot? Like, I just don't. I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary with this combo. Like, I just don't think it matters to have 3-bet bluffs versus these guys. And like, I don't know. It feels like
Okay, that was
we're
mostly
trying
my
to.
question was like, how
Right.
much should I care about having bluffs when I 3-bet not all in here?
Not much.
Okay, because
Like,
like,
I think these guys are making other mistakes. Like, and I don't think these ranges are wide enough. Like, do you have a note that this guy is like opening every single button? Has he been like raised folding? Do we have
oh
any
well,
context like that?
yeah, this whole table was like all like aggro Brazilians. I'm pretty sure like everyone on this table, except for me, is like a Brazilian reg. But
Interesting.
so he's definitely too loose here. But I guess my question is more like a big picture question.
Yeah, and if I am using, you want some bluffs, but I think I'm going to be even a little bit, even versus these guys that are capable of 4-bet bluffing a lot. I'm probably just not using this combo much. Maybe I'm just wrong. Like maybe I just need to be more aggressive with this stuff and think outside the box and use it a little bit more. But I like when I see this personally, I never have the small three bet and I just always use it as a jam. But I want to look at this and see if any of these spots in the money we want to ever go small. Like
Make it
because I
20
never
too.
would, man. Like
Yeah, like the
think
GTO wizard
20.
output for this spot has like king 2-0 through like, queen 5-0, jack 5-0, like that whole region of like offsuit, low card plus blocker. Like, yeah, basically this.
so this is
I think
this
the
is
king and
20 and he
ace is
has it
better.
17. It's
Uh,
like
Okay,
somewhere in
so
the middle. I'm sorry. Where did we go? Right here. Like you're trying to incorporate this, like, and you're trying to find balance in these zero EVs. Like, I don't think it matters much. I don't know. Like, this is another instance where we're trying to play so much like a solver, right? Is the 20 big blind range this range? I don't know. I'm more. I wouldn't think of these kind of adjustments or what's stopping you, and I wouldn't be worried about balance and only taking a good 3-bet spot because it's really good. And I think my opponent will fold a lot and I have good blockers, and I think it's necessary. Not so much as I think I need to balance here and how important it is, right? If that makes sense, Matt.
yeah, no, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
did
trying to
it in
find
game.
balance. I'm just trying to find the best sometimes, like
Right,
lines.
right, for sure. Would you do it if it was like if we were like 30 effective? Or is it still just not worth like getting that fancy with like random bluffs?
I guess it is occasionally. I don't want to tell you to don't be creative. I just think we find a situation where it makes sense.
Okay.
It's a guy's opening wide enough. He's attacking. The players beside us are pretty weak. He's active. We have offsuit king, offsuit queen. He's probably going to 3-bet, open a lot, folds to 3-bets too much, and he's probably going to fold to a c-bet often enough, right? Like, that's just the way I interpret it, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong for. I love the creative and I love making aggressive mistakes if it is a mistake, right? Like going for it. Like I
I
don't
think
hate it.
it's probably better just to always have an ace or a king though. Like, yeah, there's like slivers of queen six and queen four at 30, but like just use a better blocker, right? Like, and
Kind of feel
do
the
like the
same
ace
way,
two,
man. I kind
king
of feel the
two.
same way.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm at 15 effective, and I see 15, and I'm not sure. Like for me, I skew more when it gets to that gray zone of at 20, you have some small 3-bets, right? But it's only a few. And then at 15, you're pure jamming everything with a few traps. At 17, I'm going to go more pure jam. Whereas I'm not going to use the small shit as much. That's me personally, right? Some people like to 3-bet as like even more unless they're shorter. So it's a preference thing. But I do think I need to start wrapping it up. I went a little bit longer, but I think it was good. A lot of good stuff in the marked hands today, and I think all you guys that have like these tools and these access should start asking ourselves the tough questions. Start note locking. Start understanding the game at a different level, right? Start mixing things up a little bit, and I think it's really good experiment and stuff we did today. So thank you guys for
Yeah,
that.
thanks.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. AK, good stuff, man, on the no locking suggestion today, by the way. I think that's real
Appreciate it.
good. But did anyone have any final thoughts, questions, anything like that before we get out of here?
Can I just ask when you're in ICM spots, like any ICM spot, and you're looking for like your 3-bet bluffs or your bluff raises or whatever, are you thinking about like, oh, I have like, are you thinking about like the hand properties? Like I have a blocker plus I'm like suited and can flop well or whatever? Or are you thinking about like at this stack depth and like this situation, I want to be pulling my 3-bet bluffs from like the wheel ace X region, or I want to be pulling them from like the like suited tens region or whatever?
Well, I think deeper, the deeper, and then when no, I should start by saying like when we get to 40, 25, stuff like that when we get in ICM, like the suited tens. Obviously when you're at 25, it wants to jam, but when you're at 30 and 40, it wants to flat a lot. It doesn't want to 3-bet fold off its equity. And then a lot of the suited wheel aces and things like that, as we get shallower, that you don't want to necessarily jam, can mix some of that small 3-bet stuff in there. So I'm always thinking of using the ace X and king X properties as 3-bets, like in my range at all stages of the tournament. And you'll see it mixing a lot, right? So I'm
Right.
like in a nutshell, like when I get an ICM, yes, I'm gonna for sure pull way more from my ace X and my king X, and not so much ever that queen. And that's what I'm saying. Like you're in ICM, your final 3 tables, and we're pulling like from a random ass queen. Like I just would never do it like in that spot. I'd probably even just like mix overfolding it if the player's reasonable, and I don't feel like I'm printing that much EV out of position in this spot.
A big thing to remember in ICM is that like you don't always benefit from your opponent's mistakes. So like it's often going to be counterintuitive, the strategic difference. Like if they overflat the 3-bet, it probably will 3-bet way less because you end up playing like you end up putting a lot of chips in, and yeah, you're in no man's land, but like you don't actually benefit by them overcalling sometimes. Like yes, you get more value, but like playing big pots like is just you don't really want to do it. Like if you're at like if there's a big risk premium, like if you both have like 32 versus 33 or something, like you'll see it
It just flats a lot.
flat everything. Like
like
yeah.
ace jack suited, your suited jacks, king queen
Yeah.
suited, because it does not want to 3-bet and play a big pot, and it cannot call a 4-bet.
Exactly.
So yeah, you just got to protect your calling range, and you'll use some stronger hands. But some of this other stuff, the offsuit ace tens, the ace nines, the king jacks, these suited wheel aces and things like that, will certainly be able to mix 3-bet, and you'll see that as you kind of evolve as well. But yeah, make sure you're like that ace king spot. We don't want to get too tricky, Matt. Like still just be able to put the money in these ICM spots and use better blockers and be willing to just get the last bet in. That's very important. Did anyone else have anything before we wrap it up?
She go.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, next week I'm gonna find something to work on. Got marked hands in this week. I know eventually I'm gonna do a hand history review. I want to find some way for live poker. Since WSOP is coming up, and I want to start boot camping it as well. So, next week's session will be back, same place, same time. And if you guys need anything, you know where to find me. Be streaming, and take care, guys. Good luck on the streets, and I'll see you.
Appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Good luck.
Later.
She go.